Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Clearly Ambiguous. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy 2025. I hope this year brings you all health, wealth, joy, and everything that you desire of. Now, that's out of the way. What are we talking about today? So, today we are talking about why Indians have become a very easy target to basically get a racial abuse, right? It's just that it's like everybody, you Indians, you Indians. They have a problem with the way we dress, they have a problem with the way we talk. Then again, that's who we are, right? Now, the latest controversy that happened was something around this, and which is the H-1B visa. Now, you can basically go to Wikipedia and find out what H-1B visa means. And it's a non-immigrant work visa, which is issued by United States Immigration and Nationality Act. Okay, they made that. And who issues this? Let's see. Mhm. United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. Annual cap is 65,000, additional 20,000. So you can basically go through it and see what H-1B is. Now, what that means is that the US, they would like highly skilled, trained workforce. And why would they like that? Any country who would like to progress requires a certain amount of skilled labor, right? So, yes, eventually they want doctors, they want engineers, they want IT professionals, so on and so forth. Now, it seems like the reason why some people are actually forgetting the fact that, it's not something that the Indians one day just dreamed up and they said, you know what, let's make H1. See, H1B visas. I sometimes wonder why Americans just don't get these simple things before they just rant out at any. They like to pick up on people. Like right now, it happens to be H1B visa. H1B visa is for anybody. It's not only for Indians. Of course, probably maximum number of Indians go, but there are other communities which go there as well. The Asians, the Chinese, the Vietnamese, the Thai. I am from the Singaporeans, the Malaysians, the Indonesians. I'm sure everybody is going there. The Koreans, the Japanese. I'm sure they're going there on H-1B visas. But why target Indians? Probably because of the fact that we are easy targets, is it? Now, I love the fact that Americans have a lot of these senile old politicians, right? And especially on the, you know, you know which side. I'm not going to say it because, So Bernie Sanders, who basically was irrelevant for a very long time, jumped into this entire debate and end up saying something like this. The main function of H-1B visa program is not to hire the best and the brightest, but rather replace good-paying American jobs with low-wage indentured servants from abroad. So, my dear Indian friends who are there in United States right now, an H-1B visa, this is what Mr. Bernie Sanders thinks about you, that you are low-wage indentured servants from abroad. And the billionaires. Of course, billionaires everybody wants to be rich, right? It's just the billionaires probably cracked it and they want to be. So let's not play this game that, especially Americans should not play this game that they don't like wealth. They're capitalists, for heaven's sake. They want the entire world to be market economy, right? That's what their biggest export is. The first thing they want to do is make everybody into a market economy or a democracy or their style of democracy. And no matter who you vote for, basically the person that you vote for should report to them. And even if, so what they want is that you should buy their products and you should basically just give them raw materials. Point is, why abuse us? Right? If you do not want us there, why not? Think about it this way. that why don't Americans just get up one day and the State Department says, you know what, let's cancel all H-1B. They can do it, right? They definitely can, because they are the issuing authority. It's not the Indian Foreign Affairs Ministry or the passport issuing authority who has issued the H-1B visa. And why have you issued this? See, I made a few points. I've actually gone off a little topic, but then again, let's get back to where we were. There is a cycle. There is a cycle that happens. If there is peace, it leads to progress, which leads to prosperity, which leads to laziness, basically, which leads to conflict, and which leads to reconciliation, eventually to peace. What I mean by that is that aren't Americans just becoming these? They're becoming haters, aren't they? They just hate everyone. They were hating people coming over the border who are illegal immigrants. Now people who are legally there, they hate them as well. While the entire United States of America was created by immigrants. Isn't that what their core ethos is? But oh, hang on. Our grandparents might have immigrated here, but then again, we have a problem with you. And why do they have a problem with us? Is it just because that Indians do not start protesting and we don't implement our culture on you? And see, we do, yes, everybody shares it. Like Indians do believe in sharing their culture. We would cook our food and we'll say, if you want to eat it, fine. If you don't want to eat it, it's okay. We didn't invite you to the party. You have a problem with the way we speak, okay, the cliche, right? We would like to, because Americans think we all speak English like this. Oh, really? No, we don't. Look at Vivek Ramaswamy. He was in the presidential race, for heaven's sake, and he sounds more American than most Americans do these days. Right? And there are people who are telling him to go back to, like he was born there. Anyway, so, yeah, are we easy targets to hate? Yes, because the reason is that we do not impose our culture on you. We do not do that. We do take our culture, we do share our culture, but you would not find us in the streets protesting. Right? We usually do not, the Indian diaspora, the Indian diaspora seems to be needed every time before the elections. All these world leaders will have our Prime Minister flown in because he has that, boy. And they'll say the brightest words. I think, Americans, we need to understand we Indians, actually everybody needs to understand the Americans a bit. They're very simple people to understand. Their entire process works by just a couple of words. The one word they really like is leverage. So if you look at the last 4 or 5 presidents, every time they come into office or they're about to come into office, you'll always see that because they have to make that impact, they'll always, want to say that more jobs for our people, and we're going to stop these immigrant workers coming in, this, that, and the other. And they will always say something which we Indians will probably feel, oh, why are they antagonizing us? They do it every time. Because they want to gain that leverage that when they come, they meet our Prime Minister or our heads of state, and eventually, if you see, by the end of their term, they kind of thaw in their relationships. Even no matter how much they speak against us, they'll eventually thaw because they realize, okay, wow, amazing set of people, supply the largest amount of trained workforce. No matter what kind of English language we speak, but we do speak the language. So we understand you better, and we understand your culture better. And yes, we are usually, why don't Americans just basically one day question the fact that all these big company CEOs are not diversity hires, right? Because, anyways, I don't know what they would like to believe. But the point is that, why do you see these? And we're not talking about the present day Satya Nadal's or I don't know. Did I say Satya Nadal? Probably. Anyways, yeah, let's talk about the Google CEO for that matter, right? What's his name again? I forgot to Google CEO's. Anyways, we'll get back to that name later. But what was I saying? My train of thought is gone because it's amazing. Like, you think about these guys, the way they hate on people and they pick up, cherry pick and um people to, just, I'm at loss for words. So anyways, coming back to where we were, is it easy to just abuse us Indians? See, the reason why it is because if you realize that you would never see Indians out on the streets protesting. Because they would probably live in the fear of they'd probably lose their jobs, or you never see that. You'll probably a few here and there. Yes, there are few protesters there everywhere. But then again, and we'll not impose our culture. Like, look at what is happening in Europe, right? They let the refugees in, and now they have a problem that why are they imposing their own culture and why are they not assimilating into we actually integrate better. You would find Indians in every society because we just probably integrate better, right? And that is the reason why, because we are probably more tolerant towards the bashing that we get, we are probably easy targets, so to speak, right? And probably that's taken as our weakness. What will happen? Yes, that there's another news that was circulating. I'd like to share this. And I wonder why we end up saying Donald Trump shares new update on US H1B, and so on and so forth. How would it affect us? Fine, it'll affect us, but not all Indians. Like, if you mean to say, see, Americans would like to believe that all brainy Indians, every educated Indian basically just finishes their education and just runs to US picking up an H1B visa. No, we don't. We go to other countries as well. Forget going to other countries. Yes, but we go to Australia, we go to UK or United Kingdom or Europe or wherever, even Japan or South Korea or wherever, or rest of Southeast Asia. So and when all of them have gone, there are still some of us who get educated and stay back in this country. And that's the reason why we have scientists and researchers and doctors and engineers in this country. Have you ever thought about that? Do Americans like to only believe that, everybody in every part of this planet who just basically educates himself, they just want to go to United States? No, it's not true. Yes, you're number one. I'll tell you what the problem with United States right now is, and I think it happens to everybody who basically gets to be number one. They have a fear of being number two. What would Chinese not want to be right now? Chinese wouldn't want to be where other people are. Probably they would not like to be at number 7 or 10th economy in the world. They'd like to go surpass United States. We have come here, so we are just proud of every time. Okay, we are the 5th largest economy, we are the 4th largest economy. And probably this will happen to us if we become the number one and stay on that number one for a very long time. We do not want to relinquish that spot. And we have that superiority complex that, what, we are the only people who are giving and sustaining this world. We are not. We're the biggest consumers in the world. You cannot manufacture enough and you want to manufacture it cheaply. That's why you went to China in the first place. You're not making enough doctors. That's why you need us Indians to be there to treat you. I think they need more Indian psychiatrists, by the way. And yeah, please My intention of this is basically, yes, have a little fun with it, right? Come on. Ah, Mr. Sundar Pichai. Yes, see, I remembered. See, right. So and why do we forget Ms. Indra Nui? She was actually CEO of PepsiCo before we Indians started thumping on chest. Now, in last 5 to 10 years, that there's an Indian there, there's an Indian there, there's an Indian there, and all that. We started doing that right now, but she was there before anyone of us knew. Like Hotmail, an Indian, so whatever. We need to appreciate ourselves. We Indians need to appreciate ours and us a little more. Because if we are looking towards, we are looking outwards for that recognition or that validation that people will, no, they don't. And that is what it is. They would want us. Like all these politicians before the elections, before the elections in US elections, they were all like, look at the Chinese, look at the Indians, they come, they contribute, and let's just hate on all the illegal immigrants that are coming from the Latin American countries, so on. And I'm sure they contribute as well. But why is this fascination that let's just hate on somebody, let's just pick on someone and I think probably Indians should also start a movement where they say ILM, Indian Lives Matter. But and everybody knows that no matter how many Indians end up saying that, we'll never end up doing that. We'll not do it. You think just because there is somebody who's ethnically Indian who's a CEO of Google, has he shifted the offices of Google to India? No, he hasn't. Google still is a very American company, right? Microsoft is not an Indian company just because the CEO is Indian. It's an American company. And I'm sure their CEO places the interests of Microsoft United States much higher than India right now. And probably that's one of the reasons why you see Indians go to that level in a lot of these big companies. But come on, it's just easy to hate us. It's been happening to us. Like ever since the Europeans set foot here, the one thing that they ended up doing is just easy. And you know what? It's okay. We have neighbors who are doing this to us as well. Neighbors who are essentially us. Not even a century back. Are so divided. And I love the fact that even in this subcontinent, we hate each other so much. And why? Because certain politicians just wanted their way. And that's what's happened. And the divides, like we have one neighbor right now. They were basically fighting a war of independence with someone. And they would like to hate on us right now. You wanted to get independence, you wanted to gain independence because you were actually getting the raw end of the deal, right? And yes, that entire 1971 war happened, and it was India-Pakistan war, because at that point of time, Bangladesh did not exist. Bangladesh did not come into being in 1947. It came into being in 1971. No matter what you say, no matter how much you ignore, history stays history. Right? Anyways, whatever it is. But yes, let's hate on Indians. Let's do that. And they need to realize, okay, they want to be more like Pakistanis. Look at where Pakistanis were. When they were going for education, their priority was education, and their priority was building infrastructure. Back in the day, in certain aspects of economy, they were ahead of us. And look where they are right now. Because, let's forget. We'll just, fine. Bangladesh growing economy, yes, this, that. Those are parameters which were there because they were going a particular way. Now, because there is going to be so much, let's just realize this fact that there is no big company in this world who would like to invest in a war-torn or in a tense area, they'll just go away. Businessmen do not like to do business if there is no peace. That's it. That's one thing. Peace leads to building of infrastructure, peace leads to progress, and if there is enduring peace, there is enduring progress. That's what Chinese know. See, in our case, peace is a choice. In Chinese, in the case of the Chinese, peace is what the government tells you. Listen, hang on. You guys just don't fight. You don't do this. You don't have a freedom of this. But then again, we will make sure that we progress. And Chinese are progressing. See, forget the fact that, probably that progress is not trickling down to the... And people are getting exploited. Yes, people do get exploited. And we humans like to exploit other humans. And that's what we do. We are mean, bad people. That's what it is. And that's what we Indians should realize that Americans are. They're mean. They're just mean sometimes. They're just not having a good day right now and they'd like to abuse us. Fine. We're kind of used to it. But then again, as we become more confident as an economy, as a nation, as we become more powerful as a nation, as an economy, we will recognize our own identity as well. And that is the point of time when probably the West would not like to be on the receiving end of it. And they know that will happen. And they know the fact that, there might be one not so distant future where the West would not be calling all the shots. Well, I hope that once probably any Asian country, for that matter, any East country which becomes as big as what US is or bigger, I hope we do not go through that arrogance of, They have their YouTubers who will come to this country and they'll want to try our food. It's so spicy. It's so exotic. Right? Oh, the culture. Oh, let's learn Sanskrit. Oh, wow. But you Indian don't come to my place. No, that's what you want. This is how. Probably one day the Americans probably could sound like this, right? Don't do that. And I'm not saying that everybody is like, yeah, I'll tell you what. We always tend to think that if we start hearing there's voices of conflict and everywhere, that probably everybody is like that. Everybody is never like that. It's just that people who do not indulge, I have started to believe that, there is these 30% people who just hate on everybody, who need a reason to just... And there is 70% of people who basically are going about their jobs, living their lives, working with their neighbors, working with their employers, and receiving appreciation for being parts of community wherever they are, irrespective of their caste, creed, religion, race, whatever their beliefs are. There is still a lot of peaceful people in this world who just go about their business every day. That's the reason why this big rock that we are sitting on is not going kabooey. Because everybody does not hate everybody, and that's the problem. The minority, few, loud mouths everywhere. And their biggest problem is, why is not everybody hating on everybody? My biggest problem is, why is not everybody not loving everybody, right? So if I cannot have that, I'm sure, buddy, you cannot have that either. So I think that's about it. I really need to chill down a bit, right? So let me know in your comment section what your views are on this entire thing that is happening, and is it just easy to abuse Indians or should Indians get back at people? We do get back. We do own the internet, right? When we really want to. So, and yeah, I'm a kind of proud of people when, when they come out on the internet and they're like, you know what, you give me one line, I'll give you 10, bros. So that's good. But I hope this just remains there. Just name calling, cackling, this, that, and the other. It just does not translate into something nasty because, come on. We all know what the politicians would like to use as leverage, right? Every time. So, anyways, that's it for now. Please do hit the like button, and if you watch this video, if you liked any part of it, please mention in comment section your feedback. Is most welcome. And also, until next time, do subscribe. Until next time, thank you, and you have a good night.